Geez, it took me long enough to finally cover another Super Nintendo game. Hello, I'm Mike Gordon, and welcome to Perfect Playthrough number 137, the one and only Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. And the objective for a perfect playthrough of this game is very simple. We are going to need to get 101% completion. We need to collect all the Kong letters in every level, as well as every single buddy token, though there may be a couple exceptions here or there. We also have to complete all 4 buddy token special stages at least once, but we will figure out. Now, the 3 difficulty modes, they are basically the exact same campaign, but different styles. 1 player is the version we're going to play. 2-player contest is basically like Mario Brothers, where the players 1 and player 2 take turns trying to get through the game. 2-player team is more like Sonic the Hedgehog with Sonic and Tails, where the player 2 plays the second character. Since I'm by myself, I'm playing 1 player. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that there's nothing more substantial than this, but this is a decently long game regardless. So how did you get 101% completion exactly? Well, here's the story. The Kremlins has stolen Donkey Kong's banana hoard right here, so it's completely empty, so we now have to go on an adventure to try to retrieve it. You don't need to collect every single banana on a stage. Bananas in this game behave like Wumpa fruit from Crash Bandicoot. So once you collect 100, you get an extra life. So 101% completion is you basically have to uncover every single secret of the game. You don't have to complete all the secrets in the game to achieve 101% completion. You just have to uncover and enter. You just have to enter them. By the way, I am basically just gonna play through Diddy Kong over and over again. Alright, these guys are a little sturdier, so obviously we want to play as Donkey Kong. So you collect all the Kong letters in the level, you will gain an extra life. And we also want to get all the buddy tokens. So basically you just have to uncover secret entrances like these. If you hear the music change, that is an example of percentage. You technically don't have to complete any of them. You can die, you can just die or fail the challenge. I am not gonna fail a single challenge in this game. Just as a heads up, I'm not gonna fail it. This is a perfect playthrough, not a 1% run. It's also the reason why I'm not gonna go for what's known as the Cranky Kong split. So, how do you know when you get 101 complete a level? If there's a big exclamation point next to the level name. That's how you know. So believe it or not, you see this length of this video? Believe it or not, I ultimately decided to make the executive decision. So, yes, playing this game, I'm literally still trying to figure out the controls and the physics of this game. So, you might be shocked to see 150 video that's practically 2 hours long. Generally speaking, you either want to find a secret barrel or you want to bring a barrel or Rambi to a certain spot on the wall in order to access a secret. I could just drop down and they'll just spit me right back outside so I could continue where I left off. But I'm not gonna do that. Believe it or not, one thing that's not required for a perfect playthrough is 99 extra lives, which is the max. And this is sort of also bleeds into another reason as to why I am covering spoiler alert, this entire perfect playthrough, I didn't intend for this to be just one video, but ultimately you know, there are several reasons why I went along with it. Alright. With Yugioh Early Days collection really bearing down on me, I don't really have a whole lot of time to cover a ton of other games. Like, I am working on 2 other games of Christmas at the same time as this one, but, the decision I ultimately made was to just get this whole game done in one single sitting. So I went back there just to prove that I got everything. So, Cranky's cabin? You big ape! You could hear you coming from miles away! I could hear you. In jungle hygiene, stick to the treetops to earn extra lives. Bounce on the fixed tires to hurl obstacles and reach bonuses. Say, is that the time? I gotta fly. So you go to Cranky Con and he'll give you some advice. So, because I'm trying to accomplish everything this game has to offer, I'm not going to be able to 101% this game, achieve 101% completion in just one sitting, much less on just one extra life is doable. In under an hour, no. Again, this was originally planned to be a multi-part perfect playthrough, but the decision I came down to was to just do this entire game in one complete this entire game in one sitting. Because A, I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm not really talking much about how I get these secrets. Those bees are... You cannot kill these you cannot jump on top of those bees to kill them. You have to either use a barrel or a buddy to kill them. Hopping on that Kremlin just to grab that. Oh. Alright, an exclamation mark. That means we're done with this one. And, I'm just gonna be quiet for a little bit because this music is actually really, really good. You are never going to get music that sounds this great playing this game on a Sega Genesis. It is so soothing, chilling, atmospheric. I almost makes me want to cry. Like, you can only hear music like this on Super Nintendo. You'll never hear something like this on the Genesis. Where you can get really, really atmospheric like this. It's actually really great. By the way, you always want, when going these underwater levels, always try to locate on guard because the controls are so much better when you're on guard, and it's also way faster too. There are basically no secret areas in these underwater levels either, because there's no way to find a secret barrel to a super secret area, but there are still like secret hidden passages here and there that you can check out. And I will do my due diligence to uncover all of them. Alright, the ostrich's name is Espresso, so we just need one more. You collect 3 of a matching set of buddy tokens, and you can access a bonus stage. And those both stages are the best ways in the game, the fastest ways in the game to farm extra lives. Now, something worth knowing too, and this is yet another reason why I'm covering this game in one sitting. You only get one the game does not keep track of extra lives. Alright, here's Funky Flights. Whoa, dudes, my name's Funky Kong. My bodacious jumbo barrel can launch you to any point on the island. Most unfortunately, it can only send you to a place you've already been to. Which is a complete and total bummer, let me tell you. So yeah, what he means by that is simple. You can jump up and ride that barrel, and it can only transport to a place that you've already been to. It's good if you need to save your game and you haven't uncovered Candy Kong yet. Who's Candy Kong? Well, you'll find out. So to reach this side, you actually have to begin the cart or Donkey Kong's roll or Diddy Kong's cart reel over as you go over the ledge. And then, because what happens is anything that forces Donkey or Diddy to stop mid-roll or mid-cart reel will cause them to repeat that action over again until they hit a wall. You can really use this to try to take out a bunch of enemies all at once, gain a ton of speed. And we got 3 copies of On Guard. And I'm just gonna skip these because I don't end up accomplishing everything these games have to offer. Early play session of this game, I'm just sort of figuring things out. I'm just trying to ride up here so I could take this little shortcut to the very end of the level, as well as to the final layer. There's absolutely no more secrets to uncover in this level. You can tell the exclamation mark. So at this point would probably be when I would consider saving my game and ending the episode. Hi, you want to save your current game? Jump into my spinning save barrel. I'm King Kong, this is my save point. So yeah, usually this would be the end of the episode, but no. I chose to keep going. Gotta take out this beaver. Every time you just jump on top of his head repeatedly. About 5 times, and yeah, he is very, very easy. He's the first boss after all. None of these early levels are necessarily that difficult, but the difficulty is about to jump up pretty big soon. Maybe not right now, but soon. And as I was saying, the game does not keep track of extra when you save your game, the game does not keep track of your extra lives. It only keeps track of your progress through the story. And here's Espresso. And again, this is another one where I don't fully understand what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna skip to the end. The objective of those bonus rounds are basically to collect all these mini tokens, and every 100 tokens collected results in an extra life. But what I haven't figured out yet is that there are multipliers that you can pursue that can allow you to double your total number of tokens. Jumping over that one. And that is what is known as a warp barrel. That'll help you get all the way to the very end of the levels. Lickety split. And these warp barrels are pretty good at helping you speed along to the next save point or to the Funky Kong ones, the Funky Kong barrels, so you can go backwards and save your game. Because these early levels are in these feature levels, are very often some of the hardest levels in the game. Yeah, every single level that's leading up to either Funky Kong or King Kong going forward, they're some of the hardest levels in their respective worlds, if not in the entire game. I mean, this level is already a bit of a noticeable difficulty spike. Because you have to sort of anticipate the obstacles as they come up. So the warp barrels are actually good at giving you a helping hand in case you're stuck and you need to save your game, reach a save point. That is usually the safer option to go gun for the save point first before backtracking to earlier levels to 100% them. So Bouncy Bonanza is the next one, and is there a warp barrel here? All right. I need to push this barrel. I actually need to push this tire. And here is the 3 Rambi tokens, so we have ourselves a Rambi bonus stage. And this is probably the only, and even though I'm skipping ahead, I will let you know this is probably the one level, this is probably the least favorable level when it comes to the multipliers out of all the bonus rounds. And I'll get to it when I get to it. So basically, similar to the first Crash Bandicoot game, Donkey Kong Country does not keep track of extra lives when you resume where you left off. Because of this, it can get a lot way harder beating this game. Just skipping ahead. Don't worry, I will show off the true completions near the end of the game, later on in the game. I need that barrel so I could get up there, so I could grab this letter, the letter N. Go down there, and even though it's straight up open, it is a secret, and we gain access to a buddy that we can now make use of to access the final secret of this level, or at the very least to make the rest of this platforming section a hell of a lot easier. Hopping on the bees. And using the frog to get up there, and I'm just gonna hop up and collect most of these bananas and then get out of there. 100% completed that level. Stop and go station. Man, we've yet to unlocking. Again, the World 2 levels are not super difficult leading up to Candy and Funky. But this is yet another level that showcases the difficulty spike that's coming up. So because I'm so busy with Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection, my other games of Christmas, I made the decision to just cover this entire game in one sitting. Usually this would be a multi-parter, but I had to make an exception here. I will still aim for 99 extra lives, since but because I'm doing this, playing this game in this way, I will still aim for 99 extra lives. I need to push that all the way there so I can get that. And I'm just gonna have the token. And yeah, these mud kremlings are like really annoying to deal with. You just go, but if you go fast, you will get to Candy Kong pretty quickly. Hello guys, got anything worth saving? Yeah. I think Candy is supposed to be Donkey Kong's girlfriend. Diddy Kong's girlfriend is a character that we'll be introduced to the next game. Whoa, dudes, my name's Funky Kong. My bobacious jumbo barrel can launch you to any point on the island. We already read that. Why is that a total bummer? This is the second area we uncovered. Well, okay, to be fair, we already could save our game, so there's really no point in using it now. So right away, there is a secret for us to uncover, so you gotta take full advantage of that. You need to be able to push this barrel because there's another secret right there. And we can only reach it from here. The purpose of this one, we want to spell out the word rare. And touching those brown Kremling heads will cause it to reverse. And our reward for completing this is an On Guard token. Expressor is the ostrich. On Guard is the swordfish. The frog's name is Wimpy, for some reason. And Ramby is the rhinoceros. There's also one other buddy, but he only appears in one level in the entire game and does not have a corresponding token. And that is worth 2. Oh yeah, red balloons are worth 1 extra life, green balloons are worth 2, and blue are worth 3. We don't need to collect every single balloon in the game. In fact, since we're playing this game in one sitting, we can afford to ignore a good chunk of them. Gotta wait for this hamster wheel to come down. And now we gain access to Wimpy, which will help us with platforming by a ton. Honestly, this is another track that's kind of underrated from Donkey Kong. It is very, very haunting and atmospheric. But if that's not enough, we could go back and there is actually a warp barrel here. But first, let's speak with Cranky. Sure looks like I'm Mr. Popular today. Yes, sirree. The trouble with you kids is that you're all too soft. The old games were far harder when I was a young'un. We used to play for hours on a single screen game and think we were lucky, and we were. You wouldn't last 2 minutes in a real game. I could get through DK Country with only 1 life, easy. I'm talking about when games were games. The crafty croctopus corners his crock of collectibles and coral capers. Steel ring barrels break only when they hit a wall. See you later, alligator, ha ha ha. So yeah, he gives you tips and then makes fun of you for being crap or for playing this game. So there is a warp barrel that we can access to if we want to. This is one of the most unnecessary warp barrels in the entire game. Simply because it's a warp barrel that leads to the very end of the level. So we need to move that tire a little ways back and then switch to Diddy Kong so he can push that barrel over generate enough speed to push that barrel over the gap. Now what we want to do with this tire is take it to that first TNT and boom. We've warped all the way to close to the end of the level. Actually, the end of the level. So much work, and we didn't really need to do that. So for this level, we basically want to dodge the ostrich head. You can only hit him when he's about to spit up a coconut. Yeah, these bosses all have names I don't remember. I'm not a Donkey Kong aficionado. But yeah, this is yet another easy boss. The vast majority of these bosses in this game are pitifully easy. But wait until we get to the rematches. So we have to get here super fast, and we need to switch to Donkey Kong in order to use this barrel, make use of this warp barrel. And again, this is a useful tip if you just want to skip over to Kiddy Kong or Funky Kong super quickly. But yeah, that last warp barrel in World 2 was kind of pointless. You don't need a warp barrel to reach a boss. We only really need them to reach Kiddy Kong to save our game or Funky Kong to warp to an earlier level. I use that barrel to hop up here. Now we need to spell out the word Kong. Again, hitting the Kremlin head will result in the wheel spinning, reversing its spin. So yeah, so far we haven't had any difficulty finding secrets. So with these so the idea of this room is you hit these guys to get them to spit up these banana clusters, and every time you do, they go faster and faster. Until you hit them for like 55 of them, 55 balloons, bananas, and then they will just disappear. So here, I had to be careful to dodge that vulture when he's throwing rocks. Need to retrieve that barrel so I could get up there. Alright, we are now halfway there to maximum number of lives, 49 lives in total. That barrel that is like the trickiest warp barrel in the game to find. You just have to sort of fidget around a bit to find the banana, and now guess what? We have access to, whoa dudes, my name's Funky Kong. So now we can hitch the ride on the Funky Mobile, back pedal, and save our game. Congratulations! Now you know I may try to gun for that invisible warp, but there's another secret we need to uncover here at the very beginning. We need to make use of that beaver, though. And of course, the objective is to spell out the word Kong. And you have to do it in the order, too. So the far left has to be K, then Z, then O, then N, then G, from left to right. Yeah, I am not leaving any stone unturned with this game. I'll tell you that much. So we will eventually come across tokens and letters that are like hovering over bottomless pits that will kill you if you just go for them. By the way, there was a secret launch barrel down there, in case you were wondering. We need to hit that air balloon, and it'll send us down here, and boom. Collected the letter N, and now we can move on. By the way, that section you actually have to time it, so... So you actually saw just how much speed I got when I cartwheeled into that Kremlin. That's because Diddy Kong's animation is resets every single time he hits an enemy or comes across a ledge like this. And while he is cartwheeling, you can actually jump out of it. That's how you can grab these letters or tokens hovering over bottomless pits or those bees and not die and not take a death. Unfortunately, because we got the enter the bonus round from the main stage, we have to start from our last checkpoint. So if you hold the Y button, normally just doing that allows you to accelerate, but if you just press it, you go into a cartwheel. And it causes Diddy Kong to reset his animation every time he goes over a ledge or hits an enemy. It causes him to reset his animation, but he's still moving, and that allows him to accelerate more and more to ridiculous speeds. That's usually the key to what is known as the Cranky Kong playthrough. The cranky percentage, which is 101% completion on one life and in less than 1 hour, and with only one life. So this is basically just mostly an auto-scroller level, sort of an auto-scroll, not really. So we need able to so we have to dodge those. If you get hit once, you lose whatever Kong that you happen to be controlling, but you will gain control of the Kong in reserve. So I'm playing as Diddy Kong. This is yet another secret that is very difficult to find. And you kind of have to use the vultures to steer you the right direction. You can just barely see where the secret entrance is located at. And we actually want to hold on to this barrel just long enough to find the wall we need to enter, and there's another secret right here. And here's an on-guard token. Luckily, if you get your three tokens in luckily, if you enter a bonus round from a secret area, it spits you out where it normally would spit you out after when you once you had cleared the secret area itself. Yeah. So I need to wait for this beaver to get there. And that is how you get the Rambi token. Took me a couple attempts, but I got there. Now, we need to trial run those hamster wheels. Look how fast I'm moving! All because I'm cartwheeling across those birds. Now, Espresso, her thing is, she can't kill anything at all. But she is the fastest of the buddies in the entire game. And she can flutter out across great big gaps too. You can either hold it down, allowing you to glide across the screen like your Knuckles Echidna, or you could mash the jump button repeatedly to keep yourself suspended in the air. This seems to be a downgrade for this sort of bonus round, because previously there were 2 of these, and now it's just the 1. Oh well, we got Rambi's bonus round, and unless I actually figure out... Yeah, I didn't. I just skipped ahead. To be fair, again with Rambi, you're better off not going for the multiplier, because it's so far out of the way from all the other tokens that you can collect. All I was trying to do was hit that ground so I could get the collect the N. So you can't hit any enemy. Well, at least we got the letters. And we are done with Temple Tempest, and we can now save our game with Candy Kong. Got anything worth saving? Aren't you supposed to be Donkey Kong's girlfriend? Why are you kissing Diddy? Oh, never mind, because it's Diddy. So these barrels I'm carrying are actually indestructible. Fortunately, I lost it because I ran into an enemy. That's fine, I'll still be able to. Now, I think this level I'm trying to aim for the second secret first, and then the first secret. I might be mistaken though. So if you ever want to uncover a secret from a distance, go with Diddy Kong and have him throw the barrel, as opposed to running into the wall with the barrel in hand. So that spits us all the way back. Actually, not to the very beginning, but we can. Now that we got the second bonus round, we can backpedal to the first one. And completing the first one actually spits us right outside the third and fourth secrets in this level. And now we need to spell out each of our buddies' names. This one is Winky. Actually, I thought it was Wimpy. It's actually Winky. Rambi, which is the rhino. on guard, I think, which is the swordfish. And now, finally, Espresso. If you spell all those names correct, you get quite the rewards. You get one each and every token, and each and every buddy token. And because we already completed all the other boss stages, and because we don't have 3 in a row at all, we don't have to worry about our bonus rounds getting disrupted. Just Espresso and another barrel. I had to hit that wall while Espresso was down there, because if you leave a screen after opening up a secret passage, the secret passage will close back up again. I don't know why it does that. That's kind of stupid. But so long as we keep the exit and our buddy animal on screen when we open it, we should be fine. I think there's one more secret, and it's not one that we need Espresso for. Yeah, you go too far off screen, your buddy will disappear. But to be fair, we're at the exit, so we don't really need her anymore. And even then, we still get her back anyways. Even though we're right at the exit. Alright, thief. Let's see what Cranky has to say. And yeah, we got 100%. Have you brought back those bananas I loaned you? I bet they wasted half the memory already just on this section alone. I can't keep this level of graphics up for much longer. We used to be lucky if we got 3 shades of gray, let alone any real colors. We used to have to survive with a 2-frame walk. Sometimes our sprites used to change size for no apparent reason. We never had any of this fancy 3D stuff. Oh no, we had to survive on what we had. The crafty Croctopus queries his crock of collectibles and coral keepers. Bounce on the fixed tires to hurl obstacles and reach bonuses. Remember the original Donkey Kong? Think I'll go play that. See you later. Oh yeah, the original Donkey Kong for the arcade. This is the last level, and it is yet another underwater level. Which means we don't have to worry about finding secrets, we just have to find hidden passages. And yeah, some of them have very useful things like that letter K or On Guard. Again, always try to keep an eye out for On Guard because he's basically an extra damage sponge against things, and he is the only means of offense while you're exploring these underwater levels. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong literally cannot defend themselves while they're swimming underwater. Which makes sense since they're basically way outside of their element here. But it's a lot like Mario and how he's basically defenseless without a power-up. Let me collect this checkpoint. And yep, But with On Guard, not only are you moving faster, it controls better, but you also have a means of fighting back against these enemies. By the way, that was also the reason why I didn't have that checkpoint. It's because I knew I would be getting 3 in a row. By the way, this is basically when I finally learned what the purpose of these boss runs are. What the end goals should be. So I finally got up here. Find the big token and they split apart. And oh yeah, it doubles the total amount of tokens that you accumulate up to that now. That allows you to collect a ton of extra lives. Unfortunately, you can only go up to, I think, 999 of these things. I think if you're super efficient, you can probably get that super quick and easily. I wasn't like that, but to be fair, we are only about halfway done with this game. And already we have 37 lives. So I decided to skip ahead to where I last left off. And now we gotta take on the third boss. And this is the only boss. This is one of only 3 bosses in the game that are wholly unique. You cannot hurt this thing while he is red. You can only hit him when he's yellow. And after he ducks down. So I'm just trying to dodge him. You know, these barrels are literally the only way you can fight back against these buzz bombers. Wait, is that what they're called? I don't think so. I think buzz bomber is a Sonic term. So yeah, this is a noticeable difficulty spike from a boss battle's perspective. Next up, Gorilla Glacier. Up there just so I could that barrel in the far left so we could enter this secret. And by the way, the ice physics are in play here in this in this world. And basically every single level here, ice physics are in play and they are not good. Basically, they carry your momentum. Basically, the ground carries your momentum even from a standstill. And it can actually be pretty difficult to get started. So, took out all those guys at once with the steel barrel. Secret number 2, and this one was a bit tricky to figure out because what I'm trying to aim for is in the very middle, but I can't get to that. Alright. At least I was able to make it. Is there one more secret that we need? We'll probably find that out in a bit. Okay, yes there was. It's kind of funny. It's also how you get the letter N. Collecting the Rambi token. I want to go all the way down here because this is literally a shortcut and we don't have to worry about any of that other crap in between. And more secrets? Yep, it's 100% done. Unfortunately, there's no warp barrel in that level. There is in this level. Alright, the only way to get to the warp, though, is with Donkey Kong, and how do we get up there? Guess we need to get this Kremlin to come up. Bounce off of him, yep. I did not know this originally, but Donkey Kong can climb up and down these ropes much faster than Diddy can. How was I supposed to know that? So yeah, I used a warp barrel to skip all the way to this point. So I just have to keep... So the trick with these ropes, the purple ones will always send you down while the blue ones will send you up. So the point for this one is to just jump back and hop back and forth between the two ropes. But that was a warp barrel, not a secret barrel, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover all the secrets. Speaking of which, there is a secret in this opening, right by that warp barrel, too. And once again, we have to spell out the word Kong from left to right. That was our objective. You cannot just hit the letters in the order that they show up. You have to hit them from left to right. K-O-N-G from left to right. It's the letter K. I have to keep in mind these buzz bombers. Because... Alright, this one we have to spell the word Nintendo. I don't know if you noticed, but the letters do flash, telling you what order you're supposed to grab each of them. I think there's one or two more secrets for us to uncover. As well as a bonus. So we need to be able to break that ground down below, but first we need to collect a letter. Yeah, we got 3 on guards. Again, this is the reason why I hit the button. Now, we want to go up first. That's the number 1. And we go left. Number 2. We go all the way to the right. Why didn't I just hug the wall? Hug the exterior. And now we get the multiplier. Well, again, it doesn't really matter if my execution was a little sloppy here, because again, we are going to be hitting maximum number of lives real soon anyways. Having figured out how these bonus rounds actually work only gives me cause to speed things up. But we got 2 more bonus rounds left to go. We completed we are shown a complete Winky. We've also completed and have a complete Unguard here. We just need Espresso and Rambi now. Just have to hop across the ropes. Oh, almost went over the ledge. Yeah, we don't. of funny to think that this is the only ice crystal cave map in the entire game, and thus this is the only place that I hear that track. So that's 2 levels down. Unfortunately, again, espresso cannot kill anything. So I'm trying to land on another espresso though, and then I grab that token. Espresso token. Finding out about this secret room, thanks to a map. I actually looked up a website showing a complete map that ultimately showed me where to go in each of these bonus rounds. Because once I uncovered Winky and On-Guard sections, I basically decided to look it up for Espresso and Rambi as well. Route kit 500. Unfortunately, these are not bananas, so it's only every 100 of these that you get an extra life for. You have to roll or cartwheel over that ledge in order to nab that letter and survive. And in the barrel. So I want to get the blue balloons because those are worth 3 lives. With that, we have hit 99 extra lives in total in this game. Honestly, now I'm not gonna feel too burnt out of shape completing getting Rambi's multiplier. At least when that time finally comes anyways. Say Jolly. Of course, it's yet another underwater level. Now this time you have to avoid those octopus. They will continue following you until they reach the little another enclave like that. Do not go back for them unless you want them to follow you the entire rest of the way, though. And honestly, we don't need to really aim for bananas anymore because we have every single life. Unless we take an unnecessary death, which will cost us a Kong as well as a life. We don't really have anything to worry about here. So I was trying to enter this secret passage, so we could go ahead and collect this letter, the letter O. Yeah, by the way, all the Kong letters are always going to be in order. Are always going to be in chronological order, so you don't ever have to go off the beaten path to find a mystery K that you don't know where to find it. This checkpoint? Yeah, and also this stage can be pretty stingy with the Ungar too. There is still one more underwater level after this though, so be forewarned. You just want to go a touch above, and then we follow him until we collect the second Winky token. Man, this music, man, I will definitely say it is arguably a lot of people's favorite track in Donkey Kong Country, the first one. Apparently, Donkey Kong Country 2 also has some really good, memorable tracks. Another secret enclave with an Ungar token and a bunch of banana horrors. Basically just mashing the jump button while underwater. And now that we're about done, we finally have access to it with On Guard, which means we can now actually fight back. Unfortunately, we still can't fight back against that octopus. You can, just by looking at it, you can tell it's poisonous, so even attempting to attack it will still prove fatal. With On Guard will still prove fatal. But whatever, we've completed 4 out of like 5 or 6 levels. But you won't get much further than this. That's right, 4 shades of gray in a 2x2 character block. That's all we had. I can't play this game. The colors are all too rich for my poor old eyes. Why, even the bananas have more friends and colors than I had in the entire game. Look at this. As I rock my beard swings. Waste of frames in my opinion. Aye, that was when we had real gameplay, that was. And this was developed with the latest state-of-the-art 3D worthingies, was it? You can find the fun and ropey rampage between a rock and a hard place. I reckon that Rambi the Rhino could break open just about any hidden entrance. You practically know more than I do now. Well, almost. So if you want to know, Cranky Kong is technically the original Donkey Kong from the 1981 arcade game. And while there is now, here is the buddy here, this level. This is the parrot. I forgot his name because he only gets mentioned once. And this is also the only level where he appears, trying to light our way through the whole level for us. So if you want to know why I was struggling to try to get through the secret passage, it's because Donkey Kong likes to hold the barrels over his head, which makes it super awkward trying to uncover secret passages when you're controlling him. However, this level is such a Donkey Kong centric, you can't really help but keep hold of him. So you go into a roll in a cartwheel over the ledge, it resets the animation while speeding him up by quite a bit. I need to jump on top of this claptrap set just to reach the final letter. And we got our third Rambi token. So basically, Cranky Kong was the alright. This is how you uncover the multiplier. I only have 2, and notice that you don't. there aren't any tokens to collect up here. So when you get here, you're only really doubling up based on whatever you got prior to getting there, plus whatever you grab them right before the animation comes. Honestly, I'm already at 99 extra lives, so it doesn't bother me too much, but this is definitely the worst level in the game to gun for the multiplier. To the point that's ultimately not worth it, out of all the bonus rounds anyways. So Cranky Kong was the original Donkey Kong. Now there is a Donkey Kong Jr., but this isn't the Donkey Kong that we're playing as. Is it time for us to save our game? This has been hard work for you to come all this way. Why not save your game? Under an hour, 62% done. Cool. So what Donkey Kong, this Donkey Kong is actually the third Donkey Kong. If you guys see Kenny on your travels, tell her I'll give her surfing lessons anytime. Donkey Kong himself is actually the grandson of Cranky Kong, aka the original Donkey Kong, and is the son of Donkey Kong Jr. Now, where Diddy Kong fits in, well, here's Winky. Ahead and collecting the K letter. Winky is a huge asset in helping us get through these bees. These giant bees. Alright, we wanna hop. By the way, to hop off a button, I think you have to press A, the A button, which is the tag option. If you pressing A allows you to tag to the other Kong if available, but it can also allow you to disembark off of your buddy for a bit. I think this is gonna lead to a secret. Yep. I'm just gonna skip to the end. There's really no reason for me to continue hunting for these, especially when I have max lives. So Donkey Kong is literally the third Donkey Kong in his family. Cranky was the first, Junior was the second. So this is like the first boss from before, but with one difference. You have to wait until he's no longer jumping up super high up in the air before you can actually damage him with the jump. Otherwise, you'll just ricochet off of him. It's still pretty easy though, once you figure out what you do. Honestly, it's probably safer to just repeatedly hop on top of him so in order to avoid getting hit by him. So here's the penultimate world, more or less. We actually need to hit the explorer barrel just to blow up that flame barrel, just so we can access a secret. From this moment on, the game will literally show absolutely no mercy. Especially with the early levels being way harder than anything. So, we don't need the token or the extra life. What we need to do, you actually have to jump up. You actually have to jump as you approach the wall in order to enter this secret. Otherwise, it will just treat it as if, oh, you just finished the bonus round and just kick you out. So now we need to spell out the letters Donkey Kong Country. This is actually the 1% in the 101% run that is very easy to miss. And you can only uncover this inside of another secret area. It's a secret within a secret. And it's worth 6 lives. So yeah, I'm foregoing the the buddy token here, and I'm just gonna forgo it. So now that we uncover Ramby, we don't really need to worry about barrels anymore in order to uncover secrets. Or do we? Unfortunately, this is going to be the beginning of a really difficult run. Trying to gauge when to make the jump. But that's okay, we uncovered every single secret in Oil Drum Alley. Trick, track, track, and I believe there's also like a warp barrel for us to uncover. And it's like the easiest warp barrel in the game to uncover. No risk at all. It's good because we're just right outside Candy Kong's shop. So now I'm gonna cover this level legit. And it's also a mostly on rails level too, but you do have to keep an eye open for any would-be secrets. There is 1 or 2 secrets in this level that we need to keep an eye out for. Now, amazingly, we haven't really made use of the HUD at all in this playthrough. I thought about it, and I realized I'm kind of pressed for time, and I can't... And not only that, and this game doesn't really have too many things where I have to worry about a HUD and, update some things. Maybe a couple... Maybe help with clarification with a couple of secrets, but that's it. This is literally the only... I think this is literally the only secret in the entire game that we need to uncover. This entire level that we need to uncover. So yeah, there's... Oh yeah, this one. And it's another one with the claptrap. And just like before, it's just the one claptrap instead of like 2 of them. Very, very, very boring. Oh, no, 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 no. And it splits us all the way back here for some reason. This time we don't actually have to go up there anymore, because we already uncovered the secret. And we don't need to uncover that secret again. Unfortunately, you cannot tag out to Donkey Kong while you're riding this conveyor belt. I don't know why. But that command is effectively locked from us while we're riding it. There's the last letter. Oh yeah, I think there's one more bonus down here. Yep. And an ale and a buddy token too. And even though we are fully maxed out, I decided to just go for the blue balloons because again, they are worth 3 lives, making them the best reward here. By the way, as a reminder, if you're just looking to gun for 101%, you do not need to successfully complete any of these secrets. This one, just again, needs to spell out the word Kong from left to right. Ugh. So tired, so much Yu-Gi-Oh, so little time. This is also probably the only level where pretty much every secret is out in the open. You don't need to take a barrel to any of them, I don't think. Alright, there is one secret that's super easy. You have to jump over the top, go over the top of that wall in order to get there. Very tricky. Obviously, we want to get the checkpoint. And take the steel barrel, so select the letter N down there. This level very much feels like it should be a Donkey Kong level instead of Diddy Kong. The fact that I haven't swapped to Donkey Kong yet tells you everything you need to know. Alright. Now, are the next secrets? Because it's not just the one at the two that we just did. There's gotta be another one. And yes, there is. It's right down there. And there's literally nothing but bananas here, so there's no point just trying to go for all of them. Some of them you can't really beat per se, so don't bother. So once you get through those 3 difficult levels, you now have the privilege of saving your game! Yay! 78% done! Poison Pond is next. And luckily, this is the last underwater level in the entire game, and On Guard is right there from the very start. It is a poison level, though outside the green coloring, it doesn't really impact gameplay at all. But it could be argued it's the hardest of the underwater levels, which makes sense because it's the last one. I personally would think that it's the octopus level that we did in the 4th world. But yeah, going forward, the only time you'll ever see On Guard is in his own bonus rounds. But since we already uncovered all the secrets in all the bonus rounds, well, I say secrets loosely, they don't contribute to 101% completion at all. The bonus rounds. They're just there to help you, increase your total number of extra lives. Nothing more, nothing less. Alright, there's nothing for us down there, so we'll just continue on with our adventure. Wait for that spinning wheel to pass us. And there is a secret up here. Complete with a Rampy token. And of course, there's the letter N. And another hidden passage with the espresso token. And it also acts as a shortcut to near the very end of the level. So yeah, I do think the previous level was harder than this, though this section could be a little tricky. So let's go ahead and speak with Cranky Kong before we continue on with our adventure. You bigot! I could hear you coming from miles away! I'm a spider monkey. We used to be lucky if we got through. Okay, we already got through this. So yes, Cranky Kong is basically the original Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong's dad. This DK's dad. And technically, Diddy Kong is just Donkey Kong's best friend, but if you want to get technical, he's kind of Donkey Kong's nephew. I don't know how a gorilla can be a nephew to a spider monkey, but I don't know, maybe it's one of those honor things. He's like an honorable uncle thing. He's called an uncle for honor reasons. You know, like friend of the family. You know all you need to know now. Those are the penultimate words for Cranky. At least until we beat the game. Yeah, another minecart level. You want to go up there in order to acquire a secret and reach a secret passageway. Rambi, and we got 2 Rambi tokens now. Got a third one we access as bonus round, even though we've done all the bonus rounds. We don't have to go back up there anymore, so just continue. Same with On Guard. We're 2 down, 1 to go. And by the way, we are basically done with uncovering secrets in this level. We just have... Never mind. This is the last one. And at least we got to do a bonus round now, then put it off till later. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip it to the end. Why am I still collecting these tokens when I'm already maxed out on lives? Other than the fact that B&B can never sit still. He is constantly on the move at all times. So you might be wondering why it took so long for me to cover another Super Nintendo game. The only game for the Super Nintendo that I ever covered up till now was Super Castlevania 4 as part of Castlevania month back in 2022. Alright, here's the final secret of the level. And honestly, it basically boils down to the fact that Super Nintendo games are generally much longer than Sega Genesis games. That's literally the reason why it took so much. Because I actually did think about covering more Super Nintendo games as part of like 12 games of Christmas, not just Sega Genesis games. But the reason why I just did is because Sega games usually wrapped up a lot faster. So, okay, this token is not too deep into the level, and it's at a very dangerous spot. I just chose to just stand perfectly still because we don't really need to do anything else anymore. So I made my way back to where I left off. You need to break that platform open and reach a ladder. Probably gotta stick with Donkey Kong for a while. It is possible to somewhat see where you're going, even when it's completely dark, but it's not easy. You can't cartwheel into the claptraps, because they are little ankle biters. You won't be able to cartwheel into them. I just ride that platform all the way down so we could reach this column letter and secret passage. Now, technically, I'm supposed to ride on top of this barrel. I did not know you could actually do that. I ultimately decided to just follow the barrel here. It bounced off the wall, and that's how I was able to enter this secret area. At least I got to spot where that balloon hid before it blacked out again. Yes, you can see at the very last possible couple frames where the balloon is actually hidden. So now for the boss, and this is the second of 3 unique bosses in the game. You don't actually hit him, you just kill all the enemies and dodge his attacks. So after clearing the snakes, I'm going to swap in Donkey Kong to take care of the rest. Actually, Donkey Kong doesn't need to take care of the claptraps. Diddy could do so too, but it was speeding up, so I just wanted to take extra precautions. So, I forgot what I was trying to say. So yeah, Super Nintendo games by and large are way longer than Sega Genesis games. Sega Genesis games are basically the arcade experience. They're supposed to be able to beat them in one sitting. But Super Nintendo games are you're basically in for the long haul. So this is the final world proper in this entire game, and I just gotta wait for this thing to run out of batteries. That's what happens if you let it run out of juice. Don't collect the fuel barrels. But there was a secret passage down there. That's why I let it run out. Do not pay attention to what Diddy Kong's doing when picking the barrel. Pick where the barrel's at. Where the prize is actually located at. Its final spot is where it's at. So there aren't too many secrets going forward. There aren't a whole lot of secrets left in the entire game. There's probably on average about 1 or 2 secrets per level going forward. Because this is the final world after all. It's mighty difficult as is, so there you go. Just waiting until the last possible moment before we go down there. I gotta wait until it... I think there's still one more secret. I'm just waiting as long as possible for going for the fuel barrels, so that way we can fully optimize the length of these barrels, because it would suck really bad. So I'm just gonna... Yeah, I just cartwheeled my way to that one. I don't need that stinking tire for that. Alright, it's now getting a little urgent. Alright. We are now back up full. A minute? Yeah. David and right to the very. Yeah, there was only one secret in that entire level, and that was near the very that was at the very beginning of the level. So here's Rambi helping us out. So I will definitely say one of my biggest pet peeves with this level is that the difficulty in this game is definitely unbalanced. The early levels leading up to either Candy Kong or Funky Kong are always going to be the hardest levels in the game, because those are the levels that basically safeguard your access to a save point, or an early part of the, or at the very least an early part of the game where you can actually backtrack and farm for extra lives. And after Funky Kong and Candy Kong, suddenly the levels are like cupcake easy. But having revisited this game for 12 games of Crisis, I was originally planning on making this like an April Fool's Day joke and complain about how much this game sucks and stuff. Honestly, revisiting this game, it's not a crap game. It's just not a type of game that I'm all that fond of. You know, you don't grow up with something, you're not good, you're not well efficient at a game, you're not gonna like it as much as somebody who is really good at, who took the time to get really good at this game. It is a hard game. Right up. So that's probably the most amount of bonuses you will find in any level in World 6. Manic Misters is number 3. I see the cat coming down here. He probably wants to cuddle. Unfortunately, I'm absolutely committed to this video, to this perfect playthrough, so I can't give him the time that he so craves. So yeah, reassessing my once negative thoughts towards this game, like, I really did not like this game going up. It's still not my favorite Super Nintendo game by a country mile. It is still a pretty good game. And there was a secret way down there. Very tough to get to. And it's also the only secret where you can find all 4 letters in one go. And oh, looky here! We got Espresso! Espresso. She's gonna be a huge help. Unfortunately, we got the 3rd espresso token right outside a level, so I just waited until I was done. But, oh shit, maybe. Yep, I was able to catch up to espresso and was able to get her back. Yeah, if you get hit and you lose an animal buddy, you can still get the animal buddy back if you chase after it. Fortunately, I think I went too far, so Espresso's gone. By the way, even though this is the final world and the last couple worlds had 6 levels instead of 5, not counting the bosses, of course, this world only has 5 levels, if you don't count the boss. There's a reason for this. Oh, there's definitely a reason for that. And we will get to that when we get to that. But yeah, this is our big opportunity to backtrack now to save our game and farm for extra lives if you need to. Go see Old Man Cranky, he can help you out. Yo, gorillas. Lippy Lights is next, and unfortunately it's kind of the similar thing to Stop and Go where the lights go off. This time the claptraps actually jump. Yay! Got the letter K there. So if you don't hit the on and off switch, the lights will go off. That is the main gimmick here. So we want to try cartwheel into the air and then jump to the next platform. Basically save some time. The name of the game is to go really, really, really fast while playing this game. Like Sonic levels of fast. This is one of the things that makes this game really, really, really hard, too. I forsake that switch because there was a bird guarding it. Alright, got the N. Alright, we could just cartwheel above that final cloud trap and we are good to go. Final save point in the game, but before we use it, I want to take on this level. There's a hidden platform right underneath there, and it will take us to another bonus round. There's only like 3 more bonus rounds in the entire game. 2 more bonus rounds left in the entire game, believe it or not. Once we complete those 2 secrets, we are done. All we have left after that would be the final couple of bosses. And yeah, we are going to almost exclusively rely on Donkey Kong this time around because there's a lot of enemies that otherwise take 2 hits to kill with Diddy Kong. So I used the cartwheel here so I could access Winky. And I decided to skip ahead to where I last left off. We no longer have to worry about any Winky Kong tokens. Kind of funny how we literally are going to use up all of our remaining reserve tokens by the end of this playthrough. So you have to navigate this tricky set of platforms as well as reach the final bonus round. Don't forget about the letter G too. So I'm going to swap to Diddy Kong so I could cartwheel and finagle around to reach the final bonus round. Alright, we still have 2 on guard tokens in reserve, so the final bonus round. And of course I'm going to skip through it. because we don't need any more lives. And it spits us out right at the exit. So let's speak with Cranky one last time. Sure, come on over. Beats talking to myself. Look at this. As I rock my beer swings, waste of frames, my opinion. Yeah. So yeah, I actually have a new tune. I'm kind of singing a new tune with this game. It's kind of charming. If you get good enough where you can play through the game without dying, of course you're gonna love this game. It's actually really good. Because it actually feels so much fun and fulfilling to pull off these tricks. To keep up a really quick and fast tempo to uncover new tricks. And to just not just avoid dying, but avoid getting hit at all. Actually, I got hit only twice, but I was riding my buddies during those 2 times. Once with Espresso, one with Ramby. That's it. But now we've seen it all, it's time for us to save our game one last time. An hour and a half in-game. That's 100%. Where's the 101%? Well, we have to beat the game first. So this time, the bird will spit out coconuts multiple times before you will be able to damage it. I went underneath them briefly in order to manipulate the timing for this. And I was able to take out this boss. Arguably the hardest boss in the game, either this or the next one. But wait, this is the final world! Why, yeah, but they're not gonna make the final boss a rehash. Behold, the one and the only King K. Rool! People were claiming for this guy since Diddy Kong first joined the scene in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So obviously this guy was definitely iconic, but this first phase is kind of easy. You can only jump on top of him once he throws the crown, and it's no longer on top of his head because, well, the crown is like a big spiky thing. And now we're in phase 2 where he just causes these cannonballs to drop down from the sky. Despite being a self-professed king, he's actually just a pirate. He would definitely get along great with the Straw Hats. Actually, no, he wouldn't, but he would get along great with the Buggy Pirates, I would say. Anybody who's watched One Piece would know what I'm talking about. I don't know how Buggy would take to a pirate who obsessively hoards a gorilla's bananas. So that is it for Donkey Kong Country. It is definitely a lot of fun. I do hope you show your support by leaving a like, comment, sharing, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all the way, this is Mike Gordon signing out. Yeah, it just sort of ends. Major luck. Major luck. This is the third and final phase, where now he's just hopping across the stage instead of charging after you, instead of big hops with the cannons. It's kind of interesting because this is actually an easier... You could argue this is an easier phase, but really I'm just not watching where he's jumping. And looky here, now we've properly beaten the game. Let's see what Cranky Kong has to say. Well done, Donkey, my boy. Who'd have thought a young whippersnapper like you could have beaten that bunch of no-good Kremlings? You've made an old man proud. Go and look in your hoard. I think you'll be in for a surprise. What a player you are, Donkey my lad. You've beaten the Kremlings. And found absolutely everything. You're nearly as good as I used to be. Indeed, this is proof that we've gotten 101% completion. Meaning not only did we get all of his balloons back, but a little bit more on top of that. And that is Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. If Perfect Playthrough continues on past 2026, I would love to expand to include more Super Nintendo games. There are a ton of awesome games on that system. They're just waiting to be played. I did technically play Final Fantasy VI, but that was on the Game Boy Advance, not the Super Nintendo. The only Super Nintendo game that I've played was the only Super Nintendo game that I've actually played covered here on Perfect Playthroughs was Super Castlevania 4. Now, over 100 Perfect Playthroughs later, from 32 to 137, I've finally completed Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. My second Super Nintendo game on my channel, finally done. But the big treasure trove has to be the lineup of role-playing games. Games like Chrono Trigger, Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War, Dragon Quest V, though I have to play I think I need to play Dragon Quest 1 through 4 first. Super Mario RPG, Tales of Fantasia, Chrono Trigger. A lot of these games did get re-releases, but the point still stands, there's a lot I need to do in order to accomplish those games. I actually do own a Super Nintendo RPG. Actually, two of them, Super Mario RPG and Secret of Mana. Maybe I will be seeing a different tune with I like to play Super Mario RPG someday. Is that my turn yet? But the problem, because surely it's me next. Cranky Kong. Alright, I'm just gonna read through this letter. Donkey Kong. And here's Donkey Kong celebrating us achieving 101% completion. And some shenanigans brewing between those two. I did this using one life, so did I. And I took less than an hour, because he didn't accomplish everything the game has to offer. So yeah, I would like to cover Super Mario RPG. It's just, Mario is just not a very big property on my channel, so I don't really cover that many. I only cover the Super Mario Brothers 1 and Super Mario 64, that's it. The other one is Secret of Mana. I might be singing a different tune because, like, Donkey Kong Secret of Mana is a Super Nintendo game that I don't really like. Which is why I never got around to, because it's not really high on my radar. But I want to play more Super Nintendo games. I absolutely want to play more Super Nintendo games. They are arguably pound for pound better than what the Sega Genesis has to offer, but the Sega Genesis is still very much near and dear to my heart, but I got a lot of catching up to do with the Super Nintendo. I'll tell you that much. So, where does this game land, and what do I have in store for the 8th game of Christmas? Now this is 7 games done. By the time I wrapped up Crash Bandicoot Warped, Groundhog Day had arrived, and I was prepared to dedicate all my free time to Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Nintendo Switch at large. So the fact that I managed to sneak in a 2-hour session of Donkey Kong Country, in spite of having only played it once 15 years ago, was nothing short of a shocker to me. But until I complete the Early Days collection, I'll basically remain stuck on the Nintendo Switch. Either way, I have a couple of projects I want to get out before I resume filming my 8th game of Christmas. The first of which will be a tribute video to commemorate what would have been my mom's 59th birthday. That will go live on March 26th. The second being my April Fool's Day video, and the third and final celebrating 5 years of perfect playthroughs. So, I hope you're all looking forward to what I have in store for this channel. Until then, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.